All right, so good morning. It's Saturday morning, and I thought that I would come live, come out live and do this and just talk about something that geeked me out over the past week. I guess it was last weekend, and just kind of, I don't know, talk about guitar stuff that interests me. I don't know if anybody else will find it interesting, but back up and just talk about. I posted a couple of shorts last weekend of playing the solo to "Can't Stop Loving You" by Van Halen. The reason I did that because saw a very awesome tutorial on it by Robert Baker. And if you haven't seen that tutorial, go over and watch it because it's really good. And he provides tabs and he provides a backing track. It's a really good learning tool. And if you're a Van Halen fan, it's and you play guitar and you want definitely hit it. But some things as I was learning it and practicing it, I noticed some things that happened that kind of line up with what my degree is in. So I have a degree in sport and performance psychology. And one of the classes that you take and one of the things you can learn is motor programming and learning. What that means is just how you learn to do certain skills. So think of like when you're riding a bicycle, you have to learn it. You have to brain has to teach your muscles what to do in order to ride a bike, to hit a golf ball, throw a football, whatever it is, play the guitar, piano, whatever, type. Your brain writes a program, which is the neurons firing in a sequence, sending signals to your fingers, arms, whatever, to do what you want it to do. So when you're first learning and first starting out, you have to take a lot of what's called conscious control, being very deliberate in where you're putting your fingers, right? And new guitar players, sometimes your brain always doesn't always do what your fingers don't always do what your brain is telling it to. And so I saw that when I was learning a certain part of the solo, which was the 10, 12, 14, the little run that Eddie does. It's 10, 12, 14 on the top three strings. Well, when I want to play it fast, we all want to play, things fast as we learn them. I noticed that I was shifting to the major scale, which is you get down to the D string and you go 11, 12, 14. And that was written in my brain so much that it was just coming out. I didn't have to tell. That was unconscious control getting in the way of learning the song the right way. So that's why guitar instructors, we said you have to slow things down when you first learn to play them. So I slowed it down so that I could get the 10, 12, 14 run there. So, yeah. That part. And I was just kind of aware that that was happening. And so I slowed it down, got repetitions in, which is important to get those reps in, and I was able to switch over to unconscious control and I noticed when that was happening. Another thing that, you do when you're learning a solo, or you should try and do, is you break it into different parts. So in particular with that solo, there's the octave. That's like one part, that octave thing. Like I said, go watch the tutorial. He does a much better job teaching it than I do. So that was one part. Then that little run that I just did, that's another one. That's something you want to practice separately first. Slow, separate, and then you start putting together. You start chaining them together. And then there's the volume swell thing, which was not too hard to do. Anybody who's practiced Cathedral by Van Halen, you can do the volume swell thing. It takes a little practice to get to do it, but it's fun to learn. And then there's that last little run, which I just butchered. But that was harder to learn because it's a lot of different things that my fingers weren't used to doing all at once. So slowing it down. See, even now I slow it down, it's hard. Slowing things down and being very deliberate with your finger placement and where you want your fingers to go, picking which fingers, you know, I had to like pick, hey, which ones work best for me in order to be efficient and get it done. But I went really, really slow at first, and then you start building up over time. And I noticed with that little run that over time my brain had to do less conscious control and only had to like send a signal to do certain things. And then once you get it enough repetitions under there, you just fire it off and you're not even really. It just kind of flows out of your fingers like that. And it was really kind of cool for me. I don't know, I'm geeking out on it because it's stuff I learned, and to see it like play itself out in action, learning a song, that was, for me, that was really fun to be and fun to watch, fun to experience, which is what the guitar is, should be. It can be frustrating at times, but it should be fun. And learning new things, or going back and relearning things that you've already learned, they should be fun. And that sense of accomplishment you get after doing it and getting it pretty good. I mean, you know, I got that solo down as good as probably I can get it. Was fun to do. And I just thought I'd come on here and just like, this is maybe a series that I'm going to start, is just in case you're interested in these kind of things with guitar. I'm going to post them, and it's not going to be long. This is like coming up on 7 minutes, but fun stuff. And it's interesting how the brain works, and I'll talk about this, the brain. So when you're learning the guitar, your brain is actually creating connections between neurons in the motor program part of your brain, and they're firing off. So sometimes there's connections, those aren't there, and you have to build them. Or sometimes there's something very similar, I talked about that earlier, that you kind of got to rewrite or write over or write a whole new program in your head. And it's neat to understand that you're doing that. You know, when you learn anything, your brain is doing that. And when you're learning anything new, your brain is doing that. You're creating matter in your brain. Neurons, connections, axons and dendrites, those connections between your brain. There's also blood vasculature that needs to supply blood to those neurons. So it's all very healthy things for your brain when you learn something like the guitar, or you're learning a sport, or you're learning something new. You're actually creating brain matter. It's tough sometimes, and it's difficult, and you get frustrated sometimes, but that's good because it's good for your brain. Playing guitar is good for you, even though it can get frustrating sometimes. There's a sense of reward to it. So anyway, I'm just kind of geeking out on a Saturday morning. I thought I'd post this. So I don't think anybody checked in. That's fine. Thanks for watching. If you do come along this, hope you learned something. Hope it was interesting. But thanks, and we'll see you around. How